Live from WTOC, the Southeast News leader. The News at Daybreak starts now.
We'll get you a live look outside this morning from the Fair and Fair at Tybee Island Sky Cam. It's a first alert weather day. We are tracking ever-changing conditions around our viewing area out there on Tybee. Still looks relatively calm, but you can see the gray skies as we are expecting some severe weather across our area throughout your Saturday. Don't worry, we've got the whole team in the building this morning. I'm Tyler Mannion. We have First Alert forecaster Ron Wallace alongside as well. We'll get to him in a moment, but first we want to talk to you about the impacts that we are already seeing from this severe weather. We start out there on Tybee Island as their Irish Heritage Parade has already been canceled. This was supposed to happen later this afternoon, starting at 3 o'clock. It's been canceled due to the severe weather expected. The parade, we're told, will not be rescheduled. Let's get you into those weather details that you need to know about now. First Alert forecaster Ron Wallace alongside. Ron, what do folks need to know right now?
Well, the first thing we want to mention around the Denton area, a tornado warning has just been issued. And of course, Andrew will have a little more on that coming up in just a few minutes. But around the Denton area, that tornado watch upgraded to a tornado warning for that area around Denton. Be very careful and and keep your eye on here at WTOC. Otherwise, for the afternoon, we can expect heavy rain showers. Good risk for that. Moderate risk for flooding and a high risk for high winds, 40 to 50 miles per hour at times, and very low risk for tornadoes for the most part. However, there is a possibility, and as we just heard, a tornado warning has just been issued for a portion of the viewing area, so be very careful out there with that. Otherwise, we can expect basically rain showers and thunderstorms for a good part of the afternoon. Right now at the International Airport, it is 69 degrees. The humidity is at 93%, the dew point 67. We have south wind at 16 miles per hour. And we expect to see the temperatures back into the mid-70s by the time we get to the noon hour. 79 is the projected high for the afternoon, and we will have those gusty southwest winds, 10 to 15 knots, gusting to 25 knots at times. And our satellite radar right now showing where much of the activity is, and this is showing some possibility of some tornadoes in this area, but right now it's heavy lightning, strong thunderstorm activity, and it is moving eastward into closer to our area. Of course, the hour-by-hour forecast takes us through the day, and by the time we get to the 2 o'clock, these things will become a little more heavier throughout the area. And then after 8 o'clock or 7 or 8 o'clock this evening, things should start to dry out, and we'll have some clear skies as we start Sunday, Monday, and into Monday morning. So looks like those couple of days are going to be pretty good. So for today, 79 degrees, the high, of course, that 90% probability of showers and storms. And on Sunday, the high 68, and we'll have pretty nice days for basically Sunday and Monday. And tonight, don't forget to turn your clocks ahead 1 hour before you go to bed tonight.
To talk to you about this tornado warning that has been issued. Andrew, what have you found out?
All right, Tyler, this is going to be for our far western areas. So a portion of Jeff Davis County. Going to work on getting that on your screen for you guys here in just a moment. Here we go. You've got your weather updates coming onto your screen right now. Reason why we've got this First Alert weather day. There you have it, that red polygon popping onto your screen. This is far western areas here. So this is where we're looking into the Denton area. So if you live in Hazelhurst, you're not necessarily under this warning. The southern portion of the county, Jeff Davis does have the severe thunderstorm warning with it, but the tornado warning itself is going until 8 o'clock, and it really just gets a sliver of the viewing area, but we're going to talk about every community here. And this is the storm that right now is showing at least a potential for a little bit of rotation. This system itself is moving pretty quickly off to the east. It's going over Georgia 268, 107 as well. If you guys are in the Denton area, Lay, West Green, Huffer, or Broxton, that's where we're seeing the risk here for the tornado that is been issued by the National Weather Service. Now, right now, we're trying to get an idea of where we think this rotation would be. Not seeing a great view of where we could see this right now, anywhere between Ambrose and Broxton up to the Pridgeton area. That's where the the warning was initiated for. And this, of course, is now moving into western portions of the coastal empire and our area. Let's take a bigger look at what we've got out there right now. You can see this heavy rain, the stratiform rain is going along I-16, even some flooding reported over in that area already here this morning. But now we've got this nasty line of storms itself that's moving into areas south of I-16. That's where the severe threat is going to be greatest for the next few hours. And of course, where we're seeing the tornado warning, it's just that little quadrant of Jeff Davis County. But of course, that then moves into some of our other communities a little bit further off to the east. We'll see if this warning persists. The watch itself is going until 2 o'clock in the afternoon for all these areas shaded in red. So if you live in Georgia and you're watching us this morning, you have a tornado watch until 2 o'clock. Over in the low country, not necessarily seeing that right now, but that's where we have the strongest storms right now over in central Georgia, back over here into our western areas as well. So let's take another look at that, waiting on your radar scans to come in here. We'll be with you until this warning expires, and right now that is set for 8 o'clock here this morning. So US 441, Pridgeon, back to Broxton and Lotz as well. These are communities that make sure you guys are in at your safe spots right now. Of course, for our area, our county, right here, just getting a little part of that. Jeff Davis from Snipesville over to Denton. Let's take a look at what that system is doing right now. You can see lots of lightning popping on through as well. In the Roper area to Denton, this is where we're seeing some of the stronger wind come in as well. That then just a severe thunderstorm, but we're looking at a potential for maybe a little bit of a notch to form here as we look into some of our areas near Broxton. So right now it's actually not in Jeff Davis County yet in this polygon area, but we are going to be looking to see if maybe in this area between Broxton and Ambrose we could get a little bit of rotation that pops through that community. Let's take a look at where that warning is itself right now. In Denton, that's the only community that we've got the specifics here for that severe thunderstorm warning. And south of Hazelhurst too, this area is going to be having some very nasty weather come on through. Just focusing on the tornado warning itself from Ambrose to Broxton, which of course is just off to our west. That's in Coffee County in central Georgia, but itself starting to move into our area. So we're first alerting you to these storms that are moving into the WTOC viewing area, and where you see this line that goes from yellow to orange to red, that's where we're seeing the nasty weather start to move into some of our communities. Still not seeing the best view here of any notches itself, a tornado vortex signature, but at the very least, this is a nasty storm that could produce damage. Could have penny-sized hail, 60-mile-an-hour wind, and the potential for that tornado, of course, issued by the National Weather Service. You could see this line of storms moving into Montgomery, Toombs County as well. This is getting a little strength to it with some lightning that is popping on as well. From Hazelhurst south, though, that's where we're going to have the threat for the stronger storms continue for the next couple of hours. So your time right now is 7:38. And the warning itself that we're watching goes until 8 o'clock. So waiting to see if we can get a little bit more information from the National Weather Service. I'm going to keep talking over this while I check in with them this morning. This is what we're checking out there with that radar and the warning itself going until 8 o'clock, giving you a better view of it here as you see the radar with it. Not seeing any updates so far. They have not trimmed that back, but I've got the warning there on your screen, and that is moving into just a portion of Jeff Davis County. So right now we're going to loop this over the past 15 minutes or so as this has started to gain a little bit of strength, and you can see that with the lightning that is starting to come in there from Pridgeon to Broxton. This is moving into some of our western areas. So right now this is kind of maybe a little bit of foreshadowing of what's to come. Where I am seeing the greatest tornado vortex signature would be just off to the northeast of Broxton. You can see that's just been trimmed there from the National Weather Service. So let me give you an idea of where we're seeing the strongest wind right now. I can show you how this works here with the rotation. Red means it's going away from the radar. Green means it's going toward it. So that means you have a little bit of rotation going in here. This image just a little bit behind. So Broxton going up Georgia 268 up toward 107, and West Green over toward the Lay area. This is where we're going to have the biggest threat. So maybe some damaging wind within the next 15 to 20 minutes or so. This warning, of course, going until 8 o'clock this morning, and it's traveling off to these pretty quickly, so don't want to sneak up on you either. Giving you a look at this bowing effect as well. That's where it kind of looks like a backward C that thunderstorm is pushing that air out. And when that happens, it can start to spin a little bit, and that's why we have at least the possibility for a tornado right here, right now. I know that most of us waking up this morning not dealing with that heavy rain. We've had some of that happen overnight. Some folks are already reaching out to me saying that they've had over 3 inches of rain overnight into the early morning hours. And there's only more to come. These storms are not in any hurry to get where they're going. So as we check out the velocity once again, and this just gives us that view of how a storm's motion is going, the air movement within it. And I would just say from the Broxton area, and if you live in the southern end here of Jeff Davis County from Denton to Snipesville, just be aware that this storm is coming on in. This kind of paints the picture for you guys as well. It gets windy really fast, and then that heavy rain comes. Thunder probably preceding that a little bit as well. So where we're seeing the nastiest weather right now, it is officially coming into Jeff Davis County. So it's in the WTOC viewing area. You always have to watch out for these little notches where it swings on in there. So 268 back over toward the Denton areas where I would be watching for right now. And taking the radar off so it's just a little bit easier to understand where we have that tornado warning right now includes the community of West Green going toward Nichols, then almost coming into Alma. You guys need to make sure you are being safe right now, almost ready to go to your safe spot if needed, because this tornado warning could get expanded here, then including Alma and potentially Baxley as well. Right now, the tornado warning itself, where there's some potential rotation, looks to remain south of Hazelhurst, but if you live south of Hazelhurst, in between Hazelhurst, Nichols, Alma, that's where some of this rotation looks like it's going to be moving into here over the next, let's say, 15 to 30 minutes. So this is your current warning right now. If you guys live in the Bridgeton area, you guys are probably back off in the safe side of things, but this tornado warning is still in effect for the next 19 minutes. So it's what we've got for you guys here this morning, this bowing right there where you kind of see this little notch that flows in. That could be a little spin up. So if you guys are in southern Jeff Davis County, it's why you do have this tornado warning in effect till 8 o'clock. So Denton, definitely make sure you guys are getting in your safe spot right now. That means that you are in an interior room away from windows. And if you've got kiddos as well, they play sports, put a helmet on them, makes them feel a little bit safer, something comfortable for them. That goes for the rest of the day as well. US 23, the storm's coming your way, as well as Georgia 289. This is some of the landmarks for you where this severe storm with potential rotation being warned is going into. Now, it's a little muddled right now, so not a very clear picture of where we're seeing some of the rotation, waiting for the latest radar scans to come on through into our system. But right now, these same communities are what we're looking at. Of course, we appreciate you guys tuning into the news at daybreak this morning. We'll stay with you as long as we do have this warning. And we've been talking about this first alert weather day pretty much all week long as this line of storms is moving in, and the tornado watch itself is going until 2 o'clock. So within that watch, we have our first tornado warning of the day just getting into western portions of the WTOC viewing area, which means that there are more chances as we go throughout the day here into the early afternoon for more warnings. So I encourage you to stick with us and make sure you have multiple ways to receive alerts. I realize that this isn't affecting all that many people out there, but we do have it starting to move in. It's also first alerting you to what to expect the rest of the day. So if you guys live along and south of the Altamaha River, probably the better chance for severe weather over the next couple of hours from Waycross to Jessup, all the way in between there going through Tattnall County as well. That's where we have some of the nastier storms. So we're still seeing some broad rotation in this area going into southern Jeff Davis County. Coffee County here as well is under that warning. Haven't gotten a new radar scan, so we're just going to go over it again. People tuning in at different times, so it could be repetitive if you're just hanging on. But we are going to keep with you guys. This is where we could have a little bit of rotation. Radar's usually a little bit behind, so let's interpolate that forward just a bit here. Probably going into the Denton community right now, right along the county line. This would be Coffee County, this then Jeff Davis, where we're going to have that potential for some rotation that is moving in pretty quickly from the west, moving east at over 30, 40 miles an hour. So got that tornado warning. Of course, you see it scrolling on the top of the screen as well. And this is just encompassed within the tornado watch that we've seen. And there you have it. So if you are in Bacon County, this is affecting you guys. Jeff Davis definitely has that severe thunderstorm warning as well. But Bacon County is where we have the severe thunderstorm warning that we have been talking about as well. We can broaden that for you guys just so you can see the severe thunderstorm itself. You can see south of Hazelhurst is where that official warning is right now. But I do want to alert you guys over in the Baxley area area, Surrency, if you guys live in Zion, Alma, as well as Beach as well. This is where the storm itself is moving into. So if you wake up early this Saturday morning, 7:44 in the morning, definitely some sporty weather that is moving our way. Let's take a look at it once again, the latest radar scans coming in, and I'll give you a broader view as well, show you guys what we have going on. This is where we've got some of the higher precipitation rates as well. So not only are we looking at the potential for a little bit of that spin up going into the Denton area, but very strong wind going through Coffee County. I know some folks actually can see us out there. So Broxton over toward the Huffer area, West Green Lay, and then of course toward Nichols. That's where this system is pushing some of that stronger wind as well. So even if it's not a tornado on the ground, the strong wind can cause damage. A weaker tornado can cause just as much damage as straight line wind. So that's what we're alerting you to this morning, that potential damaging wind coming through the area. And this is what we're looking at. I know we've got some nice lightning that's building into the southern portions of Montgomery and Toombs County as well. Starting to see that getting closer to Glenville. Where you see the yellows, the oranges, this is not severe. That's going to be moderate to heavy rainfall, and it's persistent. That leads to flooding across the area. Now, where we have the nastier weather here, how this is set up, you've got nothing stopping that warm air from the south coming in here and kind of adding fuel to these storms. So this is where my attention is going to be for the next few hours, at least going into the afternoon. And this red shading that you see here as well, that is your tornado watch that is in effect until 2 p.m. I sent an alert out already this morning on the WTOC weather app. You can check that out as well. There is a short video in there, but of course we're giving you that information here as well. So heavy rain starting to move into Glenville, some lightning as well. If you guys live in Douglas as well as into Jeff Davis, that's where we're seeing the worst of the weather right now. Nothing changed here. Still is tornado warning in effect until 8 o'clock. So we got about 14 minutes. Going to check in with the National Weather Service in a moment to see what they're thinking on this and get a check on the rotation and what they're seeing with their radar system. Ours is not showing that grand of a rotation right now, but what we are seeing is this heavy rain moving even further into our area. So now Denton's getting in on that heavy moderate rainfall. The lightning is there. Not much lightning. That's a little bit of an encouragement because you get a lot of lightning really quick and a storm strengthens. That can be a signal that you maybe will have some hail and even some tornadoes in that vicinity. But right now we're just looking at the watch itself across the area and now the warning from Bridgeton to Broxton, West Green into Denton. Again, if you guys are waking up tuning in just now this morning, Hazelhurst off to the south of you guys in Denton, that's where the one community is under that tornado warning here for the next 13 minutes or so. Let's talk about some roads going from US 221, Georgia 289, US 1, and going into 341 in Baxley. This area also going to get in probably on at least a severe thunderstorm in the next few minutes or so, because I believe this one expires at 8:15. That likely will get extended back off to the east. So be alerted to that over in Alma as well as Surrency and Zion, south of Altamaha. That's where we're seeing the worst of the storm here this morning. And as we take a closer look at the radar itself, this is very heavy rainfall, over an inch an hour, where you have some of the heavier spots as well. This warning, again, set to expire at 8 o'clock, but a nasty storm going on through the Denton area. You can see a little bit of lightning coming in real time as well on your Fair and Fair First Alert live radar. Moving off to the east as well. So as we see this rotation in this area, going to have to see if once this gets out of the polygon or close to it, if this then gets extended further into the coastal empire, or if the National Weather Service will allow that to expire. As we take a look inside the storm itself with your velocity scans, we're seeing a little bit of rotation here, but not anything that is super tight. So this would be from the Denton area going right over southern portions of Jeff Davis County. So right now this is north of the community of West Green Lay as well. And again, this is moving back off to the east. So big picture wise, this severe thunderstorm, this line of it is likely only going to gain some strength as we get the sun coming up here as well. Some of the warmth today, and for Savannah specifically, our high is going to be the upper 70s today. So lots of warmth. This is your spring preview as we take a look at what we have. This latest coming in from the National Weather Service here, tornado warning here, of course, Jeff Davis County. That's the only spot we've got right now under this warning. And I'm going to take a look at their update on this as I leave that on the screen for you. It says until 8 o'clock, so another about 10, 11 minutes. The latest from the National Weather Service on this storm. I'm going to move this over as well. Let's start talking about some communities that are going to be ahead of this so we can start taking those precautions. So right now, this warning is still set to expire at 8 o'clock this morning, but as you see, more communities on the screen there from Alma toward Baxley, Coffee, Kayville, Odom, Surrency. These are the areas we need to be taking precautions, just knowing that you're in that watch. So that means you got to be ready to go. Right now, the latest from the National Weather Service saying this severe thunderstorm is capable of producing a tornado. It's located near Broxton. That was about 10 minutes ago. It's moving east at 40 miles an hour. So we can time that out at 40 miles an hour and show you guys exactly where it looks like this is going to be. So even though this whole line is not tornadic, this is where we're going to see the strongest wind come into. Timing this out, so Surrency looks like that would be at about 8:30, 8:44 there as well. So for the areas that are encompassed within this is where the strongest line of storms within the tornado warning itself is set to come on through here. So Tetlow as well at 8:44. So with this moving at 40 miles an hour, it's going to be coming up on you a little quicker. So I want you guys to be aware and be alerted to that. As mentioned, we've been talking about West Green pretty much on top of that area right now. I do still think that the most signal of a rotation signature would be in this area here, moving into the Denton area. That means if you live along or near US 221, that's where we're seeing the best chance for some of the rotation itself to be within the storm. Back here, looking further off to the east, if you guys live in Spring Branch, if you live in Baxley, even if you don't have a tornado warning, there's a strong storm that is coming your way. So Baxley south down US 1, Georgia 32 from Nichols to Alma as well. This storm itself is coming into your general direction. As mentioned, kind of in the anatomy of a storm, as you see it bows out, or you kind of have that backwards C look to it, this is where you're going to have the wind pushing out the storm, which is why it causes it to bow. So on the apex of that bowing area is where you're going to have the strongest wind, and right now that does line up in between West Green and Denton. But if that's moving east, then that puts it right over US 1 here between Alma and over in the Baxley area. Still pretty nasty over in Hazelhurst. A few lightning strikes have grouped together as well. This storm also has the potential for some small hail, so if you guys do see that, get reports of it, feel free to let us know so we can alert folks to that as well. But going to go ahead and put in the potential for some small hail as well within this storm. Your time is 7:52 on this Saturday morning of First Alert Weather Day. Got our first tornado warning of the day. Taking away the radar itself, you can see some of the different communities that are encompassed within this. Right now, I'm just more so concerned with Denton to West Green. If this rotation starts to get moving once again, let's take a look at the storm itself in the latest radar scan that we have and how to understand these storms a little bit too. They cycle. Storms kind of breathe in and out like we do. They have updrafts and downdrafts. And with that, sometimes they cycle. They weaken, not as good of a rotation, but they can swing back up in just a few moments. It doesn't take long once you already have a strong storm like this for a little rotation to come down. And sometimes they come down even in between radar scans. So even if we're not seeing it here on velocity itself, it takes a couple minutes for that to get processed and then plotted into here. So we could have, that potential, even if it doesn't look the best as of the late scan, that doesn't mean from that scan to right now, there's not something on the ground. So that's what we're alerting you to this morning. And it looks even nastier here just with a rain and lightning perspective back off to our south and west over in south central Georgia. Why are we showing you this? Well, we're alerting you to what's to come here as we go through the afternoon. I know it's a bummer with some of the events that have been canceled over the weekend, but it's better to keep people safe and keep people inside. We're already seeing some heavy rain all across the area as well, seeing rain totals stack up. I've had some reports south of Sylvania close to 3 inches already this morning as well. And worth noting for everybody that's watching in Georgia this morning, this tornado watch is in effect until 2 o'clock, and we're not even to 8 yet. So we have a ways to go with this tornado threat as we continue to keep you updated, of course, throughout the morning. No, the low country not officially in the tornado watch until 2, but please just treat it as the same. The conditions are not much different out there. So we're looking at this line, and I've got the closest radar turned on here, and that only, so it gives us the best focal point of what's happening. And with this latest scan itself, I can say that maybe some high winds starting to move out of where we're seeing the polygon right on the edge of it. So some higher wind now moving through the Denton area. That then is getting closer to Georgia 289. Eventually that's going to come over here toward US 341, US 1 as well, and Georgia 32. But some of the higher wind is going from Denton to West Green and now points back off to the east of that. So we're getting closer to Baxley. We're getting closer to Alma. If you guys live in these communities and you look back off to the west, you're probably seeing lightning, hearing some rumbles of thunder. If you can can hear the thunder, definitely need to be inside. I know you want to go take a peek before the storm rolls in, but recommending that you guys stay inside as we look at this system. Right now, not seeing a good signature whatsoever of rotation, but going to hold on to this until about 8 o'clock with the National Weather Service holding onto this tornado warning until that point. So what's to come here later today? Could have some more rotation along these signs. We look for little notches. So this itself, you've got, it's a solid line, right? But within that, you've got little pieces, little notches, and that's where you could have these little spin-ups. They're pretty tight. They're usually smaller and weaker tornadoes, but with how the atmosphere is primed today, we just have to alert you for all the potentials. Watch goes into effect and still is in effect until 2 o'clock this afternoon. So we're going to hold with this as we go for about the next 5 minutes or so, and this heaviest of rotation is moving out of that area, not showing up quite as prominent either. But from Hazelhurst now just south of town, you do have that very strong storm. Within this too, on the leading edge is where you're typically going to have the brief burst of damaging wind potential. You have a lot of rain that gets pushed down and it displaces that air as well. And then you just have air above us that's moving like a little highway. That brings it down to the surface, and that's where you have your 60-mile-an-hour wind threat. Of course, that could bring in some power outages. So now's the time, of course, to remind you if your power does go out, you can tune in on WTOC in the weather app. We're going to try to keep you updated there as well, or on WTOC Plus streaming there as well. So on the front edge of this is where we have the best chance for that wind to push out and cause some of that damage. And now your time is 7:56 on this Saturday morning. We're seeing a little bit of lightning over here in the West Green area. Going to see what the latest update from the National Weather Service is here as we approach the time in which this first tornado warning of the day is set to expire. That's your warning right now. It's set until 8 o'clock. Give me a moment. I'll see what the latest from the National Weather Service is as they give us a peek at what they're seeing. And I'll give you guys a different view as well as I do that. I'm going to zoom in here where we're seeing the tornado warning itself. Again, this is in effect until 8 o'clock, so we just have a few more minutes with it. Latest from the Weather Service, it remains about the same, of course, reminding you guys to take cover if you are in this area. I'm going to look at the rotation itself. I'm not seeing anything all that concerning at the moment, but what is concerning itself is the severe thunderstorm with the potential for the damaging wind. The I guess you could say the rotation itself looks to be over the Denton area. We call it a mesocyclone, or a rotating updraft. So with that, what we're looking at is a little bit of an inflow here. So it's kind of spinning like this. It's very broad, but just because you have a part of a storm that is spinning, it actually still doesn't mean that you're going to have it drop to the ground and have a tornado that's in contact with the cloud base and the ground itself. That being said, the Denton areas where we're seeing this broad rotation right now, so it's north of West Green, and this is now moving toward Georgia 289. This is all south of Hazelhurst to give you some perspective. I know I'm pretty zoomed in here, and off to the north and west of Alma. So if you guys live in Alma, if you live in Baxley, that's where this storm is coming. So these are the communities that need to be alerted to next, that this is moving your way. Of course, if it does cycle and we have another tornado warning, we're definitely going to bring you that coverage. And I'll hold on to this warning as well until at least 8 o'clock, see if they're going to allow this to expire or not at the National Weather Service. So let's take a tour of what we got for the day as well. That broad rotation, we can see a little mix there of the green and the reds. That's going to be in the Denton area. It's moving off to the east. As mentioned, in between Baxley and Alma, that's where it is going next. I do anticipate more severe thunderstorm warnings to be issued today. So what you guys can be alerted to today, the potentials, of course, we already have our first tornado warning of the day. At least the rotation's not too great right now, which is a good thing, but more severe thunderstorms with the potential for wind gusts of 60 miles an hour, as well as some small hail is even possible within the storms that we have right now. So if you guys live from Vidalia north along I-16 low country right now, not as stormy, but wetter this morning. More of a quick punch coming in for areas that are along and south of the Altamaha River as we go through the rest of this morning. So 2 o'clock in the afternoon is when the tornado watch is set to expire, and it's possible that that even gets extended later on today as well. This is your initial watch for the day. National Weather Service adjusts as needed. Again, they are who issue the watches and the warnings. But right now, Coffee County going into Jeff Davis, that's where we have your one warning of the morning. We're going to take a tour of this. Less than a minute left on this first tornado warning of the day, hopefully the last. But until 8 o'clock this morning, we're seeing some broad rotation in the Denton area, pushing back off to the east. So Snipesville to Denton back off to the east is where we're seeing maybe some of that damaging wind has gone through the area. And to alert you to what's left here, we're going to see from Alma to Baxley to Hazelhurst, that kind of area in between these communities is where I want to alert you guys to the next threat for this rain, the wind and potential rotation to come into. Of course, this warning set to expire in less than 1 minute from West Green to Denton. Still some lightning, so this storm not necessarily completely weakening. It still has that updraft that is producing the lightning itself and maybe some small hail. But as you can see, it is a severe thunderstorm warning now for Bacon County as well. That's going to do it for this specific tornado warning. If this storm cycles, we get another tornado warning. Of course, your First Alert Weather team will keep you updated here on air on WTOC.
Air warned winds will reach about 60 miles per hour or more. So analyzing this, what we're seeing, it is telling us that the National Weather Service said this is radar indicated. So what does that mean? That tells us there has not been spotted in Jeff Davis County or Appling County or Bacon County. What it is telling us right now is we're looking at the radar winds. So when you see this red and this green and they're mixing together, that tells us there is rotation on the radar. So I do believe the rotation is right here, just moving over Coffee County, and that's West Green. If you do know anyone living near Highway 221 heading north near Denton, go ahead and tell them pull over, go in their safe space. This will continue to push off towards Highway 23 as we go over the next 30 minutes. So this is where that rotation is. That's where we're seeing the strongest rotation, and that's where also the strongest winds will be as well. Definitely could see winds up to about 50 miles per hour within this storm. It's not severe warning, but the tornado warning is in place, and that's definitely telling us some strong winds are with this as well. So this will continue to move off again towards the northeast at about 45 miles per hour. So these storms have definitely picked up some speed over the last about 30 minutes versus our other tornado warning this morning. So right now, as we zoom out here and look at this tornado warning, this is where it's starting. That main rotation is right here over, it looks like Lee is what it's called. It is moving off towards the northeast at about 45 miles per hour. So heads up Baxley. Now this warning does expire at 9, but we'll keep a close eye on this. This system has a history of spinning up isolated brief tornadoes, and that's what the other warning was for as well. But if this is expanded past 9 o'clock, Baxley heads up at 9:06. The storm will move right over your area. So Baxley, you are still in these red lines. So I know it's still about 20 minutes away from you. Go ahead, get in your safe place. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. You can go in a bathroom, you can go in a closet. Just make sure there are no windows. If your house does have a basement, make sure to go in the basement. These are fairly weak, but regardless, there is definitely some rotation on that radar right now. If you are in Surrency, it reaches you by 9:19 as it continues to move off towards portions of Tattnall County and a very, very small corner of Wayne County. So this will continue moving quickly. These have definitely picked up some speed. Once the National Weather Service gives us an update on this storm, I'll see if it's moving any quicker. We can put a new storm track on it. But if you are in these lines, once again, go ahead and get in your safe place. So I've been watching the rotation tracker. This tells us if this storm has produced any rotation on the radar. Within this warning we had earlier today for Jeff Davis County, definitely showed some rotation, and this one is as well. So where you see those purple dots, that tells us some very brief, weak rotation was picked up. So if it becomes stronger, it'll show up as a bright blue. So this does tell me the good news is it's fairly weak, but it's definitely there. You can see where it was tracking off towards Bacon County, moving near West Green, and that's where we saw that rotation in that couplet on the radar. So this, though, the warning heads off towards the northeast. We are not seeing any rotation indicated, though, on the rotation tracker for the moment. That's the good news. That does tell me it is weakening. But again, if you are in these red lines, make sure to stay indoors. They've already trimmed down the warning. Looks like Denton, you are in the clear now. They just brought that back. If you are near Baxley, though, stay in your safe place in portions of Bacon County. Alma, you are not in this warning, but portions of Bacon County off towards the north are. This goes until 9 o'clock, so about 15 more minutes. West Green, I know that's in Coffee County, but if you are in West Green or know anyone in West Green, that warning does expand towards West Green and Coffee County, and that's really where that rotation is really starting to show up on that rotation tracker. But I'll keep an eye if it does expand towards Baxley. We do have a tornado watch in place. Now, that means there are ingredients there for a tornado warning, which is kind of what we've been seeing for today. I do think most of the severe weather should stick south of 16, and that's why that tornado watch has not been canceled. If you are in Toombs, Montgomery, Evans, Bullock, Candler, Hampton, and Jasper and Beaufort County, the tornado watch just now has been canceled for your area. We have seen so much rain this morning, so that swath of rain has kind of stabilized the air. So the tornado watch, good news, has been canceled. The main line, I think, that moves through, which is what's moving through right now, where we've seen a couple of isolated tornadoes, is moving through south of 16. I do think they'll keep that tornado watch in place until 2. That does expand towards Chatham County. So if you are in Chatham, Bryan, Liberty, Long, McIntosh, stretching all the way towards Jeff Davis County, the tornado watch is in place. So once again, we'll go ahead and go back and we'll see this track on the radar right now. Again, if you are in Baxley, it's heading your direction, still moving off at about 45 miles per hour for the moment. So these are quick movers. This line has definitely picked up some speed in the last about hour. So these are quick moving. So Baxley, heads up, just go ahead. I know it's about 20 minutes away. Just stay in your safe place for now and until the storm does pass over. Severe thunderstorm warning has now been canceled for Coffee County. Douglas, you are now in the clear, and West Green. Let's go ahead and analyze. Once again, this is what we're looking at, telling us it is radar indicated with this storm. That's the radar winds, and this is really what we're going to see for the day. These are fairly brief, weak tornadoes within this line. Our tornado threat for today has been fairly isolated and low, and it will continue through the morning. So these are our radar winds. When it shows the red and the green, it's moving to and from the radar. So I definitely think this is what caused this tornado warning. That's why the Jacksonville National Weather Service office decided to go ahead and initiate this tornado warning. So it has been trimmed back. If you are on Highway 221, just south of Denton, this has been now trimmed back. 221, you are in the clear. If you are in this area, you're good to go. Watch for standing water on the roadways, but 221 no longer has that warning. If you are heading off towards Highway 23, the rotation right here looks like it's heading right over 23. I do think this will make its way towards the highway within about the next 15-20 minutes. So make sure to, if you know anyone on 23, make sure they're off the roadways, and this will head off towards Baxley. But this is fairly broad rotation. I definitely can see it though. So this warning is fair. So once again, moving up towards the northeast at about 45 miles per hour. Within this line, this is the main line that we will continue to watch throughout the day. Earlier today, it stayed fairly dry south of I-16. We have seen some steadier rain, but I do think that's kind of what is helping these storms kind of strengthen just a bit. There hasn't been much rain to stabilize the air. So we have this tornado warning in place. If you are in these red lines, make sure to go ahead, stay indoors, and go either in a bathroom, a basement, or if you do have a basement, or head towards a closet until this warning does pass. Whether these are brief or weak or not, there definitely is some rotation on the radar. It is also earlier producing winds up to about 55 miles per hour. The heaviest of rain right now passing over just north of Alma in the northern portion of Bacon County. Denton, you are now in the clear, heading off towards Baxley. This is continuing to move quickly off towards the northeast at about 45 miles per hour. So this warning has about 13 more minutes left on the clock, so we'll stay on here and keep you safe. But this will kind of be the trend for the day. It'll be brief, weak, isolated tornadoes, and we have that tornado watch stretching from Chatham County all the way towards Jeff Davis and down towards McIntosh and Pierce County. So, and this is the main line that we're watching. So this line will continue to lift off towards the northeast till about 2 o'clock. And I do think that's why they kept that tornado watch in place for the majority of the area. Some of us are now in the clear. So once again, if you are within this warning, this is for portions of Jeff Davis and Appling County mainly and Bacon County. Stay in your safe place. Now, outside of that, and what we're watching right now, why the tornado watch was canceled for the majority of the area north of 16, because we see all this rain right now. Now, some areas have picked up over ½ an inch of rain as we went through the morning. There has definitely been some heavy rain, some thunderstorms, and there has also been some gusty wind, but it was under severe limits. So this rain will continue if you are near Bullitt County, also towards Springfield, Sylvania, Hampton. Heading out the door today, just allow yourself some extra time. There is standing water on the roadways right now. We've been showing it all throughout the shows this morning for the roadways and during traffic. Right now we are drying out a bit towards Chatham County, but remember this tornado watch does expand all the way towards Chatham County, and that's because this line right here that has caused this tornado warning is lifting off towards the northeast, and that has the potential, see where it is drier right there, to maybe cause 1 or 2 more isolated tornado warnings as we go throughout the day. So zooming back in here, again, this is until 9 a.m. this morning, so about the next 12 minutes. If you are heading off near Baxley, make sure to stay, again, in your safe place. This bunch right here, that's where we're seeing the rotation on the radar indicated tornado warning, where you see this heavier red. That's definitely some stronger winds. That's the rotation, and that's also some heavy rain. So it's knocking on your door, Baxley. You're almost through it. If you are in Denton or portions of Coffee County, I know this is West Green right here. You're in the clear. The rotation has passed by. They may shave this down a little bit more before we get to 9 o'clock. There's definitely still some lightning with it, but I do think the worst of it in that rotation is now moving over the corner of Bacon County, where Bacon meets portions of Appling County, Jeff Davis, and heading off towards Bacon once again. So I'm going to walk over to the computer. We have a direct line with the National Weather Service. They're the ones who issue these tornado warnings, and they kind of give us an update of what they're seeing. This has been radar indicated, and again, that tells us they've seen it on the radar with the winds, but it has not been spotted by any weather spotters, is what we call them. So what we're seeing right now by the National Weather Service, let's go ahead and scroll down. They did say there is a tornado warning in place. Again, this is where Appling, Bacon, Coffee is now still in the warning, but it has moved past your area. And Jeff Davis County. This goes until 9 a.m. this morning. We have not seen any storm reports for any damage in these areas, which is the good news. We are seeing some flood warnings. If you are in Jeff Davis County, this is moving fairly quickly, but it is fairly heavy with the rain. So Hazelhurst right now, some steadier rain. Also within this tornado warning, again, where you see this darker red, now moving in towards Bacon and Appling County. There is definitely some heavy rain with that. We do have a flood warning in place. So we do have hazards outside of isolated tornadoes today too. So if you are in this warning, make sure to go ahead and be prepared for any strong winds and heavy rain. Also, we have a view right now of the rain moving in towards Baxley. So this is our GDOT camera. This is in Baxley right now. And again, the rain is on its way there. That tornado warning is about the rotation about 5 to 10 minutes away. So if you are in Appling County, you can see the stormy skies in the distance. Wind isn't too bad for the moment. You can see the lights moving, swinging in the distance, the stoplights, also some wet pavement. Looks like trees are starting to pick up a bit with the winds. So if you are in Appling County, this is State Route 15, or the camera was State Route 15. Make sure to go ahead and get in your safe place. There are a few cars on the roadways. Don't be on the roadways as this tornado warning is moving through. So if you are just joining us right now, we do have a tornado warning in place. This is for portions of Appling County, Bacon County, and also Jeff Davis County as well. This goes until 9 a.m. this morning. So about the next 9 minutes, we'll continue to walk you through this. And the National Weather Service has not said if this will be extended or not. So that's the good news. Usually they'll go ahead and give us an update. So it is weakening quite a bit. So again, if you are within these red lines, Denton, you're in the clear. Baxley, this is their rotation right here. So we just saw that on the camera. Stormy skies in the distance. Make sure to go ahead, stay indoors, stay away from the windows for the moment. This will continue to lift off towards the northeast, and these have definitely picked up some steam. They're moving at about 45 miles per hour for the moment, and they were moving at 30 to 40 earlier. So this main line for any spin up tornadoes is really what we're going to watch for the rest of the day, and as we head towards maybe mid-afternoon with that tornado watch. So again, tornado warning in place for portions of, this is Appling County, small portion of Jeff Davis County, though I know you're in the warning. I do think that rotation has already passed, and we are seeing some heavier rain in that rotation move to the northwest corner of Bacon County. It is north of Alma. So Alma, you are not in the warning, but you are still seeing some steadier rain. This right here is where the strongest winds will be, and definitely that rotation. So Baxley, it's almost to you. You have a few more minutes. Make sure to stay indoors as we head towards about 9 o'clock this morning. So quick moving. We are still seeing some heavier rain. We do have flood warnings in place for Toombs and Montgomery County, and also for a portion of Jeff Davis County. So not only is this producing tornado warnings, this is producing heavy rain within this cold front. That's what we've seen all morning. Puddling on the roadways is likely. Watch for standing water, especially for areas that do have construction as we head throughout Saturday. This does clear once we go through Saturday night. So if you have any plans tonight, we should begin to dry out. So that's the good news. But right now we do have that tornado warning in place. Once again, let's go ahead and analyze this. So we did have that rotation earlier. If you were tuned in just moments ago, we did show you some fairly decent rotation on the radar. So radar winds, this is radar indicated, so there has not been a spotted tornado. Radar indicated means we can see this green right here in this red. The winds are moving to the radar and from the radar. When these start to brighten up and kind of spin together, that tells us that there is rotation, and most tornadoes that are brief and weak within cold fronts are radar indicated at first. Our spotters have not seen anything on the ground, and there have not been any storm reports. So that's fairly good news. So this will continue to move off towards the northeast. And what was the rotation? I do think it has fairly weakened quite a bit. It's moving over Highway 23. So if you live near 23, if you live near Baxley, just hold on. It has about 6 minutes left. The good news is I do think this is weakened quite a bit as it continues to push off towards the northeast. The colors aren't as bright. That's kind of how we know when they start to mix together if the rotation is tightening up. It's what we call a couplet. So heads up, it is heading towards your direction. Baxley has just moved over Highway 23, moving towards 1 off towards Baxley as it continues to book its way at 45 miles per hour off towards the northeast. Let's go ahead and get a new storm track moved on this or put on this storm, and we can kind of see where it will head towards Baxley as well. So we'll go ahead and erase this one. So just regardless if you are in Baxley, go ahead and stay in your tornado warned spot. For the moment, it's heading still 45 miles per hour. It's a quick mover as it heads off towards the northeast within this cold front. So here we go. If you are in Baxley, it's heading your direction within the next 2 minutes. We just showed you that on the radar. It is knocking on your door. This is definitely producing some stronger winds. So if you are at 8:57 in Baxley, make sure to go ahead and stay in your safe place until the storm does pass. Now, once again, it will head towards Surrency. This Surrency was in our other warning as well. It will reach you by 9:04. Now, the warning does expire at 9. However, we'll stay on here till 9 o'clock to make sure it's not extended. They have not indicated if this will be extended, but until 9:04 in Surrency. Glenville heads up. This system will make its way towards you by about 9:30, just under 9:30. So if the tornado warning does expire for your area, you can see they're slowly starting to trim it back just a bit. This system is producing winds up to about 35 miles per hour or more. It's also producing some heavier rain. So this kind of gives you a timeline of when that heavy rain will reach you as well. We do have flood watches and a few flood warnings in place right now. So if this does continue, whether the warning expires or not, I definitely probably would stay inside until this main line does pass over. You can see these white dots. That tells us there's lightning within the storm as well. So Baxley heads up, knocking on your door right now. Should reach there in the next minute, pass over Baxley. Surrency at 9:04. Regardless, again, if this does continue with the warning, we want you to stay indoors until this main line of storms does pass. It is pretty gusty winds, some heavy rain. And at 9:30 towards Glenville, expect some heavy rain and downpours. We'll continue to watch this line throughout the morning. I definitely think this is the main line to watch for the day for some isolated, and you can tell we showed you the rotation just moments ago, brief, weak tornadoes. Let's go ahead and look at the rotation tracker on our radar right now. Now, we did see some rotation earlier south of West Green. The purple means it's fairly weak, but the rotation was definitely there. As it has moved off towards northeast, you can kind of see that turn and towards the northern portion of Bacon County. It kind of weakens just a bit, and we showed you that on the radar winds just moments ago. So that's the good news. Regardless, we still have this warning in place. They have trimmed it back. Jeff Davis County, you are now in the clear. There are no tornado warnings in place for Jeff Davis County. However, we are are still seeing some flood warnings in place for Jeff Davis. This will continue to push off towards Baxley as we go towards about right now, the rotation and this warning. So if you are within these lines, put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Tornado watch has been canceled though for portions of the area. It has been canceled for north of I-16, mainly if you are in Bullitt County towards Screven, Hampton, Effingham, Jasper, and Beaufort. You are now in the clear, Toombs and Montgomery. This line that we're watching that has the tornado warning in place is pushing off and pulling towards the northeast. So I do think that's why they're going to keep that tornado watch in place until about 2 p.m. for tonight. And then as we go towards this evening, that tornado watch does expire. So a watch means the conditions are favorable for any tornadoes to form. That's along that cold front. Right now we do have that tornado warning in place. Again, that has now been canceled for Jeff Davis County, but it is still in place if you are in the northern portion of Bacon County and if you are in Appling County as well. It is almost to your area. So I'm going to go ahead and check with the National Weather Service. They are continuing this warning. It says until, continuing the warning until 9 a.m., so about the next few minutes. And it also is still moving off towards the east at 45 miles per hour. That's what we'll continue to see as we head throughout the day. So we have about a minute left. We're going to stay on this warning. Here's a live look right now at Baxley. And we're seeing some cloud coverage in Baxley. Again, that storm is moving towards your area. We told you just moments ago. It has weakened quite a bit, but where you see, let's keep this camera up, where you see this area of red, that's the strongest winds and that's the heaviest rain. So it is almost to Baxley. It looks like it's moving a bit south of Baxley now as it moves off towards northeast till about 9 a.m. So south of Baxley, but you can see that rain is moving in. The stoplights are picking up. If you know anyone on the roadways right now, make sure to go ahead and say, hey, maybe pull over, head indoors somewhere. You are in a tornado warning. This does cover into Baxley off towards the northeast at about 45 miles per hour. So heavy rain will continue regardless if you're in this warning or not. We do have flood warnings in place. This is for Jeff Davis County. We also have a small portion of Bacon County, but I do think that main rotation that has weakened is right here, just south of Baxley. So regardless, I know Bacon County, it looks like it has moved over you, but stay in your safe place for about the next 15 seconds, it looks like, until 9. But we are continuing to watch this warning. Baxley, this fairly strong winds moving south of you. We also are seeing some lightning with this and a swath of heavy rain. That's what we'll continue to see throughout the entire day as this cold front continues to pull towards the northeast. Now this warning has now expired. Here's a look at Baxley right now. Some heavier rain again moving in. Warning has expired, but regardless, this is producing some strong winds. Definitely don't go outside. Wait for this main line to pass. And if there are any more warnings, we'll be sure to cut in here at WJCL 22. Make sure to tune in. That tornado watch for most of us still goes until 2 p.m. for tonight. If you're out on the go, have any plans for Saturday and you want to get warnings sent straight to your phone, you can always download our WJCL 22 News app for free. I'll send you back to regular programming now.